Hey guys, this is Justin at the Schwab Review, and last night I saw The Last Stand, Arnold Schwarzenegger's big comeback. And while it was not the great comeback I was expecting, it was still a really fun and enjoyable ride. So, let's just get started with the plot, I guess, get that out of the way, because there's not much to that anyway. Um, the movie's about this drug lord who breaks out of jail, and he's on the run to Mexico. And so to get there, he has to cross through this town that is run by Arnold Schwarzenegger as the sheriff. And he's driving this like souped up car that can go like extremely fast and like nobody can notice it. And it's like so so like the FBI guys, they can't really stop him and they can't do anything about it. But there's Schwarzenegger. So him and his group of cops try to fend off the city and try to stop the bad guy. That's essentially the gist of the plot. So I don't have to talk about the acting too much because while it wasn't all bad, there was nothing special, nothing to really praise or anything. Schwarzenegger, he's getting up there where he's a little old and some of his line reads are a little kind of off, but for the most part, he was good. He was back. The best part was just to see like an actual like Schwarzenegger performance, not just a self-aware tongue-in-cheek performance like Expendables 2 where he's just walking around goofing around, but this one where he's actually trying to give a performance, and that's what I like because that was cool. And that was the best part, was just sitting down and watching like an old school Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. But to be honest, it's not like they don't like overdo it, so. But the movie is not like overdone in the action. Like they don't like do insane stunts like every few minutes. Like there's a few things that Schwarzenegger does that like they play true to his age, which is kind of cool. He doesn't do too many huge stunts, so it's a little bit believable. He does a few, like where he tackles a guy off a building and they land on like pillows under them, kind of something like that. And but so it makes it a little bit more believable that this 60-year-old guy is doing that. But and that's what I like. But the movie, the beginning of the movie is actually kind of slow. There's not too many action scenes. I mean, there's only like 2 action scenes involving Schwarzenegger, and that's counting the end, which goes on for like 20 something minutes. And for the most part, the movie's kind of slow. I would say dragged at some points, and actually some points in the beginning didn't really focus on Schwarzenegger as much, and that was a little kind of like, what? Like that's the only reason why I'm seeing this. Without him, it's just a even more generic action movie. But so I found that a little bit annoying, and since the movie doesn't have that great of a plot, it wasn't interesting. But then whenever Schwarzenegger came on, it was just fun to see him. And so, like I said, it's not the big movie, but it's a great movie to show that he's back, and I wouldn't mind seeing him in more action movies because I thought he did good. And it was a fun movie. Like, it would make, I don't know if this makes much sense, but like I'd think that this movie would have been like, they would have made the big, huge comeback movie of Schwarzenegger, and then their follow-up to that would have been The Last Stand. That's what it kind of is. It's not the huge, big movie you're expecting, but it's still a fun action film. And the whole last, like I said, 20-25 minutes is so much fun, and just some great action, and some cool stunts. The fight scene between Schwarzenegger and the main bad guy starts out a little kind of like slow and kind of like dull, but then it kind of goes a little bit and it becomes a really fun fight scene that is actually like kind of believable, even though Stallone was 65 or Schwarzenegger 65. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I had fun with it. It didn't blow me away. I wasn't really expecting it to, but it wasn't as classic as I was expecting. I guess I kind of like great Schwarzenegger. There's not too many great Schwarzenegger lines in the movie. There's only a few. One, a really good one that I'm not going to say, but it's in the Red Band trailer. That if you watch that, it's a pretty funny line. But overall, like the cast was alright for what they did. The villains are just your typical one-dimension villains that like I don't even remember the name of right now, but they were, I guess for the most part, well acted. Also, one thing I want to mention, Johnny Knoxville was in the movie, and I think most people know that because he's advertised on everything for some reason. Like, he's on all the posters with Schwarzenegger, and the trailer says, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Johnny Knoxville, which I don't get why. And, like, even this morning I was looking at the newspaper, looking at the ads for the movies, and they had the picture of her last stand was that cool teaser poster. It had Schwarzenegger standing, looking off in the distance, all cool. And on the newspaper ad, they added in Johnny Knoxville standing next to him. I don't get. He's actually, like, for those who are worried, he's actually not a main part of the movie. Honestly, like, he appears in like an introductory scene in the beginning, then doesn't come back until before the climax, and then he's kind of involved in the climax. But even then, he's not. I mean, yeah, he's given a little more to do, but he's not like really focused on it as like main character. So it just really felt weird that they're like advertising him as like the major star next to Schwarzenegger. Like, even that awesome poster of Schwarzenegger shooting that big huge gun and looking all sweet, you have Johnny Knoxville standing next to him. And I don't get why they had to promote him a whole much. I mean, I guess he's marketable, I don't know. I think most people want to see this for Schwarzenegger, and so, like I said, don't worry, like, if you're worried that he's going to be the main guy, he really isn't. He's not really that main guy. He appears, I mean, in a good amount of the movie, like, for the whole end of the movie, but they're not, like, the camera's not always focusing on him, like, hey, it's Johnny Knoxville doing stuff. And his moments aren't as annoying. Like, they're a little kind of annoying, but they're nothing to really be like, oh. So, he wasn't bad. Like I said, not focused on, which I still find that weird that they advertised him like that, but, so yeah, so he's not really, the movie is not it's not a big Johnny Knoxville and Arnold Schwarzenegger team up movie, which it kind of looks like in the posters and stuff like that in the trailer. Nowhere near that. It's still just an awesome movie. So, that's Last Stand. Out of 10, I'll be generous. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Because I did really have fun watching it. Although it wasn't as sweet as I was expecting. It wasn't as, like, great. It had a few moments that dragged, but I still had a lot of fun watching it, especially in the end when Schwarzenegger becomes a major part of the action. He's doing mostly everything, and he's in, like, every shot. And yeah, whereas the beginning where it didn't focus on him as much, I was a little annoying, but I liked him. Like I said, he was off in a few moments, but I think he's good. I would love to see him in more movies. I know he's doing one with Sylvester Stallone, supposed to come out next year. And that's probably the next one I'm looking forward to, because I just want to see them in a movie together. Not like Expendables where they're walking around joking, but like a true, honest movie. That's what made this cool, was just because it was Arnold's comeback. It was his first movie in 10 years since Terminator 3. We won't talk about that movie right now. But, and even though it's, like I said, it's not the big, huge comeback movie, but it's still a really fun action film. I'd definitely say check it out if you want to see a cool, fun action movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Definitely worth your time. So yeah, this is Justin. Talk to you guys later.